this is Blodgett from Jende Industries, and today I'm going to discuss lapping my Choseras and Shapton stones for the wicked edge. We're going to do two methods. The first method is going to be using the WEPS diamond plates, and the second method is going to use Atoma plates, full-size plates for lapping. Alright, we're going to start with an 800 grit Chosera stone and the WEPS 100 diamond plate. And you have to be very careful here because the stone is the same size as the plate. So you don't have a lot of room to lap. So this is not the best method, but it is a method. And it just takes more time and more energy to do. So you have to be very careful that when you're coming forward that you don't tip if you go too far. And if you go too far the other way, you'll tip. So you basically have to watch out for rocking. So generally I don't go more than about an inch there. And two ways to do this is forward and backwards. This way is better. I'm going to go that way, and then I'm going to do like an X pattern, and then switch to the other X, caddy corners. Okay. So the first thing you want to do to know if your stone is flat, you can see some marks that are left over from sharpening. The majority of the stone is going to get used for that here to here, and this is the part that is dished a little bit, so I need to lap the outer ends more. So the best way to know if you're flat or not is take a pencil and just draw lines. This is good for any stone, not just wicked edge. Okay, basically the more you get, the better. And when these marks are gone, then the stone is flat. So I start off with a little water. It's easier to put this down on a sturdy base. I have a stone holder here. Get some water here, wet my stone. Notice how that doesn't really remove much of the pencil mark. Okay, then I'll start lapping. Basically put it on here, you can put a little bit of pressure, not much, you don't need a lot. Forward and backwards, again, about an inch, not more than that. Then you switch to like an X pattern, caddy corner, about an inch, caddy corner. If you can keep it closer, it's better. Okay, and just from that little bit of lapping, you can see, because I do lap my stones most of the time, you can see that there's just a little bit left here. So I'm going to just do just a little more lapping here. So I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to just turn it around. More water. Same thing, forward and backwards. A little X pattern. Keep it flat. Don't let it bounce around. And my stone is now flat. Alright, now I'm going to lap using a full-size plate. I have here the Atoma 140. And it's basically the same thing as before, except a whole lot bigger. I have my Shapton 320. I can use the small stone, but again, it doesn't matter if it's Shapton or Chosera. I'm just going to use Shapton this time. But you can see I've got a lot more space to work with here, which gives me a lot faster lapping and more consistent lapping because I won't overshoot the plate anytime soon. Okay? So first thing I want to do is mark the stone. It's ready for pencil. And you can get creative. I generally do X pattern. The more you color, the more you know. Again, you don't have to worry about the pencil coming off. It's still there. It's harder to see when it's wet. Wet the plate. You do want to use water when you're lapping here with the diamonds. It helps clean everything off and keep it productive. So again, the same thing. Put it on. Now this time I put my hand on. I've got a lot more space to work with here, so I'm just going to kind of keep even pressure, not a lot of pressure. I'm going to start going forward and backwards. And I can even actually come across the stone a little bit. Forward and backwards. And I like to turn it slightly askew and still go forward and backwards, not at a 45-degree angle, but okay. You can see already that we've gotten most of the pencil mark here. There's still some on the edge here on the sides. Okay, but again, most of the stuff that has to get taken down is at the top and the bottom because it doesn't get used. So in here is low, we have to lower the rest of the stone. So I'm this way, and then we come back this way, askew slightly. Again, keeping it flat. Then come back and forth again. That should pretty much do the trick. Okay. Still got a couple of spots right there, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more. and I turn the stone around. I like to do that, it's just a habit. You can see you can come in kind of quick. And once you get the fluid motion down, there it is, it's flat. So you can see that I have several different diamond plates here. And I want to talk a little bit about texturing the stone. So this is basic lapping. I used the coarse grit 140 here and the 100 on my coarse grit stones, right? But what I want to do here, if you have your 10K stone and you use a 140, you're essentially, or 100, you're essentially scratching the surface at 100 grit, which turns your surface of your stone into a 100 grit stone instead of a 10K Chosera. So you would use a higher grit diamond to the corresponding grit of the stone. And this textures the stone to make it smoother, so the ridges and peaks from the diamond lapping don't go down as deep, and the stone is not as aggressive, or in this case, when you do it on the Shaptons, it'll feel terrible. Same with the Choseras, it'll feel really rough. You don't want that, you want it thinner, smoother. So, I'll do the same thing. I'll do the first one. I'm gonna take a, I've got my 10K right here, as you can see, it's a little dirty. So, first thing first, draw my pencil marks. Okay. Now this one you can do, I would take a 600 at least, or you can go 800 or even 1,000 on this, because really, you're not using the stone that much. Yeah, there's some black there, but it's not a big deal. So you can even come to the 1,000 grit, and again, you gotta worry about just, you don't have a lot of space. Okay, so you have to be very careful about that. But it can be done. So, put my 800 side down, I'm gonna use a 1,000 grit stone, wet it a little bit. This also helps clean the diamonds off. You can see most of my wear is here. So I have to take all this down. It's not so much about that, it's about the rest. So same thing, hold it straight. Yeah, I don't have that much room to play with. Now the Choseras, you get a lot of swarf runoff here, if you can see on the bottom of the stone here. And you can also see already, I'm still taking it off. So I just want to kind of keep it clean as you go, otherwise it will load up and it will give you a false flat. You see that again on the diamond stone, you're getting a buildup of 10K. So just kind of keep it to a minimum. This is why I like to use the full-size plates overall, because there's just not a whole lot of space here to deal with. Okay. And you do get a little bit of stiction sometimes, where the stone will start to bind, and you just got to make sure you wet it again. Again, I'm getting there pretty quick. Again, because when I use this stone, it's my finishing stone, so I'm not going to use it as much as my coarse grit stone. So I don't have to lap that much away, and it leaves a good surface texture. Again, not going over too far. You see, I have to kind of slide it off because there's actual stiction here. So I got to pull it off the stone. Keep that kind of clean. Okay, getting very close. So I'm going to turn the stone around here. Okay. Again, getting that stiction again. That's when you don't want. You got to add more water. Okay, very close. More forward, more X. Okay, slowly but surely. And as you get closer and closer to being flat, you get more and more stiction because you got more stone coming into contact. Now here I've got this little bit of pencil here, if you can see that. All right, so yeah, you can work it out. You could leave it at this point. I'm gonna work it out just because I'm crazy. But yeah, at that point, it's not a huge deal. But for perfection, gotta work it out. Because again, this is probably, I used the stone this way and came down on my knife using more of this side than that side, so that's probably why. So I have to remove everything else around it. Water is good. Station getting kind of tough there. There it is. And we are flat on the 10K. Okay, clean that up. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing now on my 10K Chosera, the other 10K Chosera, but I want to use the 1200 Atoma plate. Barely see that there. Again, these are just the smaller diamonds. It textures the stone better, makes it smoother, it cuts better, and leaves a better finish. So if you're using an extra coarse or a 140, you can use a 140 plate or the 100 or 200 grit diamond stone. It's just going to leave a rougher stone to begin with, and as you use it more, it will even out and become a full 10K again, let's say. But when you get to Shapton's 15 and 30K, you really don't want to lap with a 140 or the 100 or 200 grit stones. You want to use 400 or 600 minimum on those, because again, you don't want these big grooves in your stone because it's such a fine grit. So the 1200 grit diamonds is really the best way at that point to keep your stone smooth and it still cuts well. So the other 10K, and you'll see just how fast this is again compared to the WEPS diamond one. I got a lot of room, a lot of space. All right, wet it up first. Draw the pencil bar. Again, I'll be removing most of my here. This is the stuff that's going to get removed. The middle's already dished slightly, and this is ever so slightly. I mean, just the depth of the pencil. So here, again, forward and backwards. I'm going to do some little X. Another X. You see how fast it's coming off the plate. And the majority is again almost out. So again, I was probably using the stone this way, coming down, or the other side, where I was using that more. So no big deal. Under a sink under running water is probably the best way to do this, so you don't get all this buildup of slurry from the stone. Just makes the diamond underneath a little bit more aggressive, faster, longer. But as you can see, it really doesn't take a lot to lap. I mean, it literally took, what, 5-10 seconds max. And if you lap religiously after every knife or every couple of knives, then you don't have to lap for a long time. Okay, so that's your basic introduction to lapping the Shaptons and Choseras with the Wicked Edge diamond plates, or the larger full-size Atoma plates or other diamond stones plates. And if you want to find out more information, check out my YouTube channel, check out my blog, or go to the Wicked Edge forum. Thank you.